I have a lot of respect for BC's political leaders, including our Premier David Eby. Yet last week, I was saddened, surprised, frustrated, and angry when I saw his press conference regarding involuntary treatments. Once again, we seem to be going back to what is making us as the public, the general population, uncomfortable when we walk down the streets and see those who are unwell, often due to mental health and substance use challenges. What is making us uncomfortable? What is making us disgusted? What is making us want to turn away? Again, we are dehumanizing those who are struggling, not from criminal issues, but from serious health issues. Involuntary treatment is something that I believe is wrong for a long list of reasons, but I felt that I needed to mention a few of them today. One of them is that it re-traumatizes. Many, if not most, I cannot give you the exact data, but I'm sure there's a very, very smart individual who can. Individuals who are on the downtown east side and around Vancouver, on the streets and struggling due to substance use and mental health challenges, have been through multiple challenges in their lives involving traumas. Taking them involuntarily into a treatment re-traumatizes them in a serious way. The second point I wanted to discuss is the fact that we are looking at this as a criminal issue versus a health issue. Premier Eby spoke to these beds being in essentially jails. So we are taking those who are unwell, who are sick, whether or not they have schizophrenia, whether or not they simply are struggling with substance use disorder. There are a variety of things that they may have going on, and we are putting them into jails. Jails are designed for criminals. The setting, the action, the reasoning is all out of whack. Involuntary treatment can also be incredibly dangerous. It is challenging enough for those who truly want to stop using substances and recover to get well. You take someone who then does not want to go into recovery and get well, and where does that data leave you? Well, unfortunately, we won't have those numbers until we have lost far more lives than we already have. These are human beings, and no human being is past the point of being able to recover if and when they choose to do so. If it makes you feel uncomfortable to see them on the streets struggling, then find a way to advocate for other ways of recovery and wellness. My other question is, no one seems to be asking, what does recovery mean in the sense of involuntary or voluntary treatment? What is happening in these beds where people are detoxing and recovering? What model is being used? What structure is in place? What steps are being taken? What approach is being used? What philosophy is being followed? No one is asking these questions. And those are vital questions if we want to know how and if an individual has a decent chance of recovering. Involuntary treatment makes me feel uncomfortable, uneasy, and sick to my stomach for several reasons. many of which I've just described. If someone commits a crime, if someone is a danger to themselves or someone else, they clearly need to be hospitalized or in jail. That is the law on the health side and on the law enforcement side. But if someone is unwell due to substance use, mental health related issues, we need to come together and come up with solutions to support individuals via often harm reduction methods, which only got a little bit of a get-go start before we had a chance to really see if they could make a real difference. They started to make a difference, and political tape got involved, and here we are. I'm not going to go on much longer. I'm going to end this video by simply saying that it is a layered issue. Recovery is not a straight line. Involuntary treatment is once again dehumanizing someone who is unwell, forcing them into a jail. We do not know the details of what's happening in those treatment beds. And because of all of these reasons, including further trauma, we must do better. We must do better than involuntary treatment. The other key danger of involuntary treatment is that when someone comes off of heavy drug use for a period of time and then returns, their tolerance level has changed. There's a toxic supply on the street. Chances of them overdosing and dying are very high. That is another thumbs down for involuntary treatment. This message is for all Canadians. Canadians who are born here, Canadians who are new to the country, and Canadians who are struggling on the streets. And they are struggling. Do they want to get help? We need to dig deeper. We need to have conversations. We need to have more of a dialogue. If they are incoherent, we need to involve doctors and specialists to be able to really understand the needs of those who are struggling. Because our lack of comfort of seeing people on the streets who are unwell, well, I'm sorry, but the lives and the well-being, the humanity of those struggling trumps our comfort every single time.